David Kano with the Hollywood MMA Show and MMA Show News Features. And today we have the one and only Bas Rutten. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, buddy.
Today we're in your gym, Elite MMA gym. Tell us about your gym.
You know, it's a great little place we have here. We have 8,500 square feet. We have back classes, as you see right now. They're doing that. They're very popular. We got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Rodrigo Carvalho is here. He's multiple world champion. Just won the Gracie Open in San Diego. You know, so he's a really good instructor, top of the line. And then we got a whole bunch of other instructors who do pretty much everything. I'm teaching here every Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that's pretty much it. You know, back classes, Thai boxing, kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and mixed martial arts.
Well, that was my next question. There's a lot of gyms where they have star UFC people or MMA stars that headline the gyms, but they don't teach there. You actually teach.
I teach every Tuesday, every Thursday. You know, we chose that because yes, first it was every Monday and every Friday, but many times Friday I have to go on a trip somewhere for Saturday for a show. So I said, you know, let's do it on Thursday because then at least, you know, I can make those days. And you know, I would say 80% of the time I'm here, yeah.
What do people get when they see Bas Rutten? Are they intimidated by you or?
No, they're not. You know, it's very hard. I think once you start talking to me, the people realize, it's just one of the guys. And I just, my classes are all constantly breakdown technique, non-stop. It's all stuff, you know, footwork, where the power comes from, with straight punches, with the hooks, what not to do, what to do. You know, so constantly breaking it down. Many times when I have like a professional fighter in a row, I interview a professional fighter, and they ask me all the time, hey man, do you have time here? Are you going to stay? Can you train me? You know, I say sure. You know, and they all say the same thing. You know, because I bring them back to the basics. I said, this is where the power comes. I had guys in here. I had Tim Sylvia in here. He almost couldn't hit a bag anymore. This is a while ago because he started developing so much force, he was hurting his hand. And then there was a left hook. I told him how to open with a left hook. And then his next fight was like 2 weeks later, he won with a left hook. So that's good stuff. I like that.
So for a young person that comes to you and says, hey, Mr. Rutten, I want to become an MMA fighter, what would you tell them to take first? Would it be BJJ, wrestling, striking?
That's the thing right now, you know, everything at the same time. That's, you know, you always have to at least two arts in one. It's either you do standing, takedowns and ground, or you do standing with takedowns. You know, but you have to add to wrestling needs to be there all the time because, you know, you can learn to be a really great striker. But if you plant your feet against a great wrestler, you're going to be taken down. So the trick is to always mix it up.
Me and my co-host Jason Cecil Flores, we had a debate, Elite Wrestling versus Elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I took the stance that Elite Wrestling is going to beat out Elite BJJ. What's your opinion on that?
You know, that's the thing. If the guy comes from wrestling and he never trained mixed martial arts, look at Frank Shamrock what he did with the gold medalist, right? He armbarred him right away in 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But if the wrestler learned the ground game, even if it's only for like 6 months or a year, you know, there's some basic things that if you learn those, it's very easy to stay out of it. And the wrestler already should have that body positioning down because he's a really good wrestler. Yeah, so then I say the wrestler. But if they're both fresh, like if a wrestler comes out of college, great wrestler, and you got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, same age, who is a multiple world champion, I think the BJJ might submit him. Yeah.
So just different factors.
Different factors because I took my own. I thought I was a tough guy. My first MMA class, ground class, I thought I could hold chokes. And thank God they weren't doing blood chokes. They did crush the windpipe. And I just hold it and I wouldn't tap, you know, and I had to drink liquid food for 3 days. I had to park my car next to the road. I called my wife on one of those old cell phones I had. And I said, I'm in the car, I'm sleeping, I can drive, I'm done. And I came home the next day, she's laughing, she goes, oh, that's it, that's for your MMA. I said, no. I said, I'll be back. In 3 months, I'm gonna tap all these guys, who was? And that's what we did.
Do you think some schools are getting watered down? There's some schools where you can watch a videotape and you go to the dojo or gym and you're able to get your belt and move on without having any instructors seeing you. Do you think MMA is starting to get watered? Like some of the schools are getting watered down?
You know, it's very simple. You go with a big school and you go with a big name, and then most of the time it will be okay. If it's some guy who just did some self-defense classes here and there who never fought, don't go with these people. You know, but a lot of people are going with these people because they're weaker people, and it means that they don't get injured as much. But those guys, especially when they do street fighting, A lot of them, they teach it their own way. You know, gun defenses, knife defenses. You know, gun defense is grabbing a wrist. That's like the dumbest thing on the planet to do. You know, I saw Marines teaching that to the guys from The Ultimate Fighter. So somebody's been telling them how to do it, but it's something you simply don't do. You want to control the weapon, you know. You want to make sure you don't get in line of fire. If I grab here, I can go pull the trigger. No, I can throw it in my other hand. But if you grab the barrel and you push it to his hip right away, you will go for a disarm right away. But still, if I just keep driving into him, there's nothing he can do. As long as I don't put myself in the line of fire, he can pull off whatever he wants. And people go like, "Oh, but you're gonna burn yourself." Okay, you want to get shot? Of course, maybe I'm gonna get burned, yeah. But if I get burned, trust me, man, then this guy really is gonna suffer. There should be quality control. I said this many times, and I said this because I had my kids, I'm not gonna mention the studio, on karate, because I thought it's good because I had karate. It's a base, and you know, it's a great art. And it was just a money-making machine there. It's every week they have to line out the dojo with kids who do belt testing. They can't do anything. I have parents coming to me with the kids with third-degree black belt, show them how to kick. And yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I said, dude, he can't even kick. He's got a third-degree black belt, you know? You give him a full sense of security. When he goes to a real class, that's what happened to me when I went to a Thai boxing class, coming from Taekwondo and karate. You know, I learned that the hard way. My first liver shot, I got introduced to that. You know, then it opens up. And all those guys who say, yeah, my teacher had 400 street fights, did he ever fight for real? No, he never fights for real. Then he probably sucks. Because if he would be good, he would be fighting for real. And the reason why he fights on the street is because I can get a 50-0 record in one day. You know, I just put a glove on so I don't break my hand. I say, hey, asshole, boom. I mean, it's a pretty easy, because on the street people can't fight. You know, we're professionals. It's like me going to Tiger Woods and say, hey, want to play golf? I'm going to kick your ass. It's not going to happen, you know? So I don't get that, you know, but once they're really good, you know, like everybody there, you got a Wing Chun and they say this, and other people Kung Fu says this, and I say, listen, it is the biggest promotion for your sport. Look what it did to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It became world known. I mean, it's the #1 sport even in the whole Middle East. You know, in the curriculum of those kids go to school, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right there is in the PE. You know, so that's power. And that means, okay, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy did really well, that's got to be a strong art. You see, now you got wrestlers, they like that also, but then you have strikers who pick up wrestling really fast, or who used to wrestle and started striking. And yeah, that's how it goes around.
There are some fighters that are dojo warriors that train like world champions at the gym, but they fail under the lights.
Yeah, you know, it's very hard for a fighter. My first Thai boxing fight, after that I knocked the guy out, if they would have blindfolded me and they would have called in 5 other guys and they would stand next to each other and they say, which guy were you fighting? I would have no clue. Like, you're fighting in silhouette, you need to channel, you hear these people screaming, you have no clue, man. Everything goes so fast, you know, and you're 43 seconds, but I remember that around 30 seconds I go like, I'm breathing now, you know, and I could not believe that I was like in 30 seconds that I felt already something. It's all the nerves, you know, the more you do it, the better you get used to it. It's just the feeling of getting used to it. And the major one is, and I told these guys here today, don't care about other people. That's the thing. If you care too much what they think about you, you're never gonna care about the fighters. Care about the professional fighters. I always say, you know, Chuck Liddell lost the last bunch of fights. Did somebody on the planet lose 1% respect for this guy? Nobody. Because he's a freaking warrior. He comes in, he's either gonna get knocked out or he's gonna knock you out. You know, and in guys like that, you will never lose. Like to me also, I told him yesterday, he said, I'm kind of nervous. I say, to me, you can never lose. If you don't tap on strikes, that's the only thing you would lose. I would lose respect for you. You know, if you don't do that and just fight, it doesn't really matter. I always say, what would you think if we bring a guy in from your same weight, we put him there in the ladies' room together with you, we'll lock the door, you guys fight. And you come out and nobody knows who won. Now, imagine you lost. Would you care? And he goes, no, I wouldn't care. I said, that's what I mean. I said, but you do care when you do it outside, because all these people in the audience who never fought a day in their life, never trained a day in their life, have no clue what kind of pressure it is with cameras and everybody there. You know, they start talking crap about you. Oh, you didn't look good at all. Oh, you shouldn't have done this. You should have done that. you know, and that's why I always say, fight for yourself. Don't fight for your family. Don't fight and put food on the tables for my family. No, I'm not. I'm fighting for me. That's it. I don't care about everything else. And if I really do that, I'm going to be at my best, and then my family will automatically be really taken care of.
For a young fighter that you see that can't perform under the lights, that should not be fighting, there have been people that you've told, like, maybe you shouldn't do this?
Yeah.
Are there people like that?
Yeah. No, I have been tough. I have a guy who always locked up, really great in the gym, always locked up, was in the mirror. On the trip over, he would like all these things, like pushing his chest. I said, what are you doing? Yeah, they told me, and you can't relax from that. I said, dude, this should be your fun time. Like my 3 days before the fight, oh my God, I'm enjoying that. I love it. And then in the dressing room, you know, it's the best because you go like, oh, let's see if you worked with like 6 combinations. I always switch those. And let's see, and most of the time, you know, you win with one of those combinations because you did them over and over and over again. You know, so I would love that feeling, and some of them, they just don't love it. A good thing for new fighters is what I always say, is when you pick your first fight, an amateur fight, doesn't matter where it is, do it out of state. And don't tell anybody in the gym. Because then if you go over there, you lose, nobody knows. If you win, you can say, hey, I won the fight. That's a lot of pressure off your shoulder. Another thing you don't want to do is talk crap about your opponent. Because the more crap you talk, you will see yourself when you come up, they show you on the big screen, I'm going to rip his head up, shit in his neck, I'm going to break his leg, blah, blah, blah. And then you're standing there, you go like, I better do it now, you know? Pressure. Stay away from that, why would you?
We know you have one daughter.
Yep. Well, 3.
Oh, you have 3?
Yeah, I got one in Holland, she's 23,
oh, wow.
and I have 2 daughters here. Yeah, no, I'm blessed with 3 girls. A lot of fighters have that. Mark Coleman, you know, Marco Huas, they all got girls.
If they wanted to get into MMA, I know some probably say they were younger and they wanted to get into it. Is that something that you would let them get into?
I would love to. I don't know. For competing, I don't know, but you know, it depends. If I see the drive that they have, and I can tell if they're good or not. You know, if I think, oh, no, she's not going to make it, it's not going to happen. It changed my life. It made me who I am, and everything I own to mixed martial arts. I said this last week to somebody. Without MMA, I had no clue what my life would have been. I'm so blessed that I grew up just at that time, and I was 28. I was late, 28 when I started MMA. You know, I needed to go fast and a lot, and I just did. I just trained a lot, 3 times a day, getting crazy. The ground techniques, oh my God. I had BJ Penn asking me, calling me saying how great he thought my instructional DVD was. I didn't even know BJ at the time. He's calling me out of the blue. He said, how's this BJ? I said, oh. He was going to take a run for Matt Hughes. He was fighting him at the time. He says, I'm watching your instructional DVDs. It says, they're the best instructions I've ever seen. Who was your ground coach? I said, I never had a ground coach. I taught everything myself. You really taught everything yourself? I said, yeah. You know, but you have to understand, I did it a lot. I had the house full with little Post-its, all combinations. I would wake up in the middle of the night, I'll tell people start laughing. I did this at least 6 times, and I woke up my wife because I would dream a submission, put her in the submission, you know, saying, oh, it hurts your shoulder, right? Oh, no, it's your arm, right? It's 100% your wrist. You know, bring that to the gym, and then start working. You know, find a way to get to that submission.
But is that true though? You would wake up your wife?
Yeah, the 6 times, at least 6 times.
And you would try something?
I would put her in a submission, not full power, but I would say.
But you would?
I would, yeah.
She was okay with
She was okay. She's the best. Behind every great guy is a great wife, and you know, I'm super blessed in that department. She's always been behind me, never said anything, oh, she shouldn't do this, always. Yeah, she's a special person.
I'm still that's so funny that, I don't, it doesn't surprise me, but it does surprise me that, hey honey, I thought about something, let me see if this works real quick.
Oh, and during the day too. During the day, suddenly I come up with something and I say, can you lean over? Let me get this through. But she knew that it was my motivation. I didn't do anything else. I was living and breathing it. That was after my last loss against Ken. I said, I do not want to lose anymore. And I found this one sparring partner, 19 years old at the time, Leon Van Dijk, incredibly strong, 125 kilos, he would do biceps. We're talking, it's 280 pounds. I would have an armbar on him, he would just curl out. I had to literally do all my technique, make it perfect, very smart, so I would get an armbar. He tapped, we'll get him in an armbar. He taps, then 3-4 times, we'll never get him in an armbar again. So I need to create a different way to go to that same armbar. new way. Oh, he didn't detect it yet, boom, got him again. You know, and then soon enough he would know that. So then we could creating on and on. And for every move, I started creating like 3-4 different setups. And then I started switching those in between from 1 to 4, back to 1, 2, 3. You know, boom, caught. You know, and that's what we did. I would come home in the middle of the night from partying, and suddenly I go, oh, I want to trade. Pick up the phone. He would always come. Middle of the night, 3 o'clock, go to the gym. We open the gym. We roll. You know, he was always there. He was actually really good.
I'm David Kano with the Hollywood MMA Show, and that's going to do it for today here at Elite MMA Gym.